Welcome, everyone. Welcome, my YouTube friends, back to this YouTube channel. This is Eunice Chan coming to you with a brand new interview. We are so blessed, and I'm so honored today to be joined by Renee Garcia. Today, we are going to be talking about how she chooses to step into her 1 in a million identity. So I have actually been following Renee for quite a while on her YouTube channel, and I have seen her grow and flourish and continue to apply the concepts of reality transurfing in her life. She explains everything in such like she explains everything in English in a way that people like us can understand. So it's so inspiring to watch her YouTube channel. Renee is a lifelong entrepreneur. She's a certified reality transurfing instructor and alternative space adventurer, which is incredible, endorsed by Vadim Zeland, former Russian quantum physicist, and the author and creator of Reality Transurfing. So her motto is knowledge without application is merely entertainment. So this is super inspiring for me to just continue to watch her live her life and to continue to teach the things that she teaches. Welcome, Renee. Thank you for taking this time to join us on this interview. Can you please say a couple words? Thank you. Can you please say a couple words to let us know like what you are about, who you are? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, what I like to say is that I'm a trans surfer along all the other reality trans surfers of the world. I'm just a few steps ahead. When I found reality transurfing, it was really unheard of in the English speaking world. So I took it upon myself to start bringing this knowledge more broadly to people speaking English. And then also we've, grown quite an international crowd. And this is kind of my current life purpose and my mission. And this is what provides meaning for my life. The joke is that I am not actually a human being. I'm a Russian-made cyborg that was made in a Russian laboratory by Vadim Zeland to propagate reality transurfing across the world. Because it's pretty much all I do. It's totally my life. So it defines me for the moment. I'm passionate about reality transurfing. I utilize the tools, the concepts. I'm trying to lead by example. As you said, you've watched me grow on my YouTube channel, and lots of people have seen me evolve on social media in a pretty profound sort of way. And it's just me trying to showcase really what reality transurfing can do for people's lives and, see me doing it so they know that it actually works, right?
That is so cool. I'm like watching you like a character, and you just continue to like whip magic and change your character and change your identity and just be able to like just move into another alternative space as you desire so seemingly so effortlessly. So I am so interested in, especially in this interview, especially in this 1 in a million YouTube channel, to understand like how did you unlock that? How did you unlock this identity to choose this path for yourself?
Yeah, so this is a question that there is a very, very long answer to. I will give you the short version of it. The short version is that I grew up poverty level. I grew up, I don't know if you saw that movie, The White Tiger, on Netflix that just came out. Did you? About the young man in India that set out to, he was born in a very, very poverty stricken rural village in rural India. And he set out to become an entrepreneur. And this is my story, not as extreme, obviously, because the poverty in India is a lot worse than it is here in the US, but where I grew up in the United States, very, very limited resources, limited, limited jobs, a very depressed economy, really depressed economy, a lot of drug use, a lot of just, the stuff that does not nourish the human soul. So I lived this life and decided that I wanted out. And I decided to try to find success to the best of my ability with my limited resources. And I managed to do so. And I lived this life for most of my adult years up until I was about 35 years old. And one morning I woke up and really just realized that everything that I had been led to believe was going to make me happy had not in fact made me happy. The success that I had gained, the material possessions that I had gained, the status that I had gained, the life experiences, I had all what I was convinced I needed to gain to get myself out of. I'll reference this movie, White Tiger. He refers to it as the rooster cage, right? This cage that confines people born into certain circumstances. And I did this. I got myself out, but then I realized that how I had gotten myself out and what I had actually built instead of being in that rooster cage was just as bad as the rooster cage, right? It wasn't, there was different, as Vadim Zeland puts, the author of Reality Transurfing, there was a different set and decorations, meaning that my environment looked different, but I was still confined in my mind. I was still trapped inside of my mind. And what I attributed this to was the fact that I had gone about gaining success in the ways that my world told me were the ways that you gain success, the same ways that everybody gains success. Stressing, worrying, overthinking, overworking, putting everything on the line, neglecting myself spiritually, neglecting myself emotionally, not taking care of myself, thinking only about money, not nourishing myself with self-love and self-care, being hard on myself, comparing myself to people a lot, really just part of, if I was in the rooster cage before, I moved out of the rooster cage into the rat race, right? And I just, that became like this, hungry rat, that was just constantly looking for that piece of cheese. And I withdrew myself from it. I decided to actually leave leave that life behind and go inward and really extract myself from my environment and take some time to figure out who I really was and what it was I really wanted, what would really make me happy, what would really help me to feel successful, not convince me that I was successful, but what would help me to truly feel successful. And in asking myself a lot of these questions over the last 6 years since I left this life, I found a lot of answers. And it actually turns out that tapping into who I truly am as a person, like the essence of my individuality, is so much more profound and meaningful and impactful to others. And so many other amazing things have come to me tapping into this essence of who I am as an individual that has allowed me to connect with a success that is truly intended for me, like nobody else. And you've watched my videos, and I'll be the first to say this about myself. There's nobody like me. I'm not trying to be anybody. I'm not trying to mimic anyone. I'm not trying to live to a standard. set by somebody else or something else. Like I really am doing my own thing. And the freedom now that I feel as a result of this and what I'm actually able to accomplish
Mhm.
is nothing short of a miracle. I mean, it really, really, really is miraculous. But it took me looking at the fabric of what my environment was created from, right? What my reality, what the layer of reality that I was experiencing, what that fabric was, how that fabric was woven, what exactly was I living with in my life, and asking myself what can stay and what needs to go, and living up to other people's standards of success was really the first thing that needed to go. So that was really how I tapped into this individual essence, or the soul trail, as Vadim Zeland states, and start to connect with, yeah, as you're putting it, one in a million, right? Your thing, your identity, your individuality.
Your YouTube channel, the way that you present your ideas, the way that you handle your social media is no like other. Those reprogrammed stickers that you have, I've never seen them anywhere before.
Yeah, I made
and
them.
and they're so original. That's what I love about the things that you create. It's really a reflection of just who you are, how you see the world, how you operate, and you show people this is what's possible. And so being in this place, when people are watching you, it actually inspires them so much to think that, you know what, I can actually do this for myself too. Like I can tap
Totally.
into my individuality too, which is such a beautiful thing. So
Yes.
in your own words, what has this one in a million identity and stepping into your uniqueness allowed you to achieve thus far in life? How would you really like sum it up?
Um, I would say that there are times where I I kind of like, when you're living in something, when you're living in your life and you don't really look at it from like an outside perspective, because you're just in it and it's the conditions of your life and you're used to it and you don't really think much of it. But sometimes, like the other day, I was talking with Vadim Zeland about some business matters, and I realized, like, just I had this thought. I'm like, this is really a remarkable life. Like, nobody gets to talk to Vadim Zeland, but I do. Like that's so weird. And being my age, like I'm in my early 40s now. A lot of people think that I'm still in my 20s. And I
No
say, I
one can
say,
tell.
huh?
No one can tell.
Yeah, I know, it's really amazing. Like, you know, so I, my life that I'm living now is kind of like the life of somebody in their 20s, just discovering life and just building their thing. Like, I got an entirely new leaf on life. I got an entirely new experience. I got an entirely new identity. And this is the trippy part, because when you live for 35 years not as yourself, and then something happens like what happened to me, you know, that I got the opportunity to rewrite the script, and I took that opportunity and I'm actually living it, and I'm getting everything that I've ever wanted. When by the time I was 35, I was cursing the world because I felt like I had been cheated out of life. I had been cheated. And things were meant for others that I want, or things other people got things that I thought were meant for me or I wanted and I wasn't getting. And in this tapping in to this 1 in a million, it's not even 1 in a million, it's like 1 in a billion, right? Or
The
1 in 5
lifetime.
billion, tapping into this true essence of my individuality. My life is mirroring the success that I've connected with internally, that my life is giving me. It's like it's all of a sudden like I was watching a movie and I didn't like the movie, so I turned the channel and now it's another movie. And in doing something like this, there's such an incredible power that comes from that. Like, we could do this again. I could do this when I'm 50. I could do this when I'm 60. I could do this when I'm 70. Like, how awesome would that be if I just kept turning the channel and discovering new parts of myself and new sectors of reality? So it's really just been, I guess, the bottom line to your question, it's been liberating.
Liberation and freedom and allowing. That is, I'm extracting all of this. This is all so delicious. And from what I'm hearing you share, it's like you got a second chance in life.
Totally.
That feeling when nothing means anything anymore, and then all of a sudden you wake up one day and it's like, I got another chance. I can get take two.
Yeah, and I connected with purpose, and I connected with all the things that I felt were missing in my life, like love, like real love. I never really knew what real love was before. I thought love was like hooking up with someone and maybe wanting the same things, or what could I give them and what could they give me, like a business transaction or something, and now I realize what real love is. And in this evolution of me beginning to understand and feel what true love is, not just love, romantic love, but love for myself, love for the community, love for all the transurfers that are along with me for this ride. This has been amazing because like I never had that before, so it's allowing me a second chance with, it's like second chance 2.0. It's like a second chance, but an even better experience than I had before,
So next level.
Yes, it is very next level.
So for yourself, like every single day when you start your day, how do you ground yourself in this kind of uniqueness? Because I'm sure you also have bad days. I'm sure you also, hormones might be in effect and some things might happen. So how do you ground yourself in this uniqueness of yourself, and from where do you draw this feeling?
Well, this is a challenging thing to learn, is to allow yourself to be you, regardless of what your environment tells you is acceptable or not acceptable. A lot of people, I thought, when I started on this endeavor, I think a lot of people kind of laughed at me behind my back. Like, it was something that wasn't really like a thing, so it was like people in my family or people in my life are like, so what are you doing exactly? Like, you're just gonna promote this guy's book? Like, you're gonna move your energy away from something that makes you money, my profession. You're gonna move your energy away from your profession to promote some foreign author's book, and you're going to use all your time and energy doing this? Like that's not even really like a thing, and it's not a thing. That's the thing. Who else has dedicated their life to promoting somebody else's book? It's like kind of weird, right? So this was my first encounter with a challenge like this? What am I going to do? Am I going to listen to what my heart's telling me to do, which is to help this man get his book out into the world? Or am I going to listen to my environment that says, that's just stupid. Who does that? That's not a thing. And in this practice, you know, I have been challenged a lot of times to talk about, like, you know, one of the examples is just me talking about specific subjects, right? Like
Mhm.
I've tackled big subjects that a lot of people in my circumstances wouldn't have tackled, like racism and victimization and, you know, heavy topics, talking about my past, talking about the big things that have happened to my life, in my life, that are traumatizing and hard to, for most people even to speak about in general, yet alone speak about it publicly in a way that's permanent, like doing it online. um, and there have been lots of times where I've had an idea to talk about one of these things, and then I think, oh no, you can't do that. That'll be permanent, that'll be lasting, that could damage your reputation, that could put you in a bad light, that could give people the wrong idea, you know, some
Mhm.
sort of negative thought. And then I stop myself and I challenge myself and say, okay, so what is your heart telling you to do? And it seems like whenever I get that feeling, this is the interesting thing about tapping into your individuality and tapping into what your heart knows is the right thing to do. Whenever I get that feeling, like I have an idea and my brain starts to try to pitch an argument of why I shouldn't do it, I now know that if I do it, it's going to get a lot of views. It's going to get a lot of engagement. It's going to get a lot of people that have reached out, that reach out to me saying, oh my God, you talking about that helped me so much. I never heard somebody talk about that, right? So the fear of social repercussion, the
Mhm.
fear of damage to the image, the fear of status, you know, degradation, all that stuff keeps people from tapping into an individuality that would actually provide them with more success if they could just lead with love rather than leading with fear, right? It's the fear that's keeping people inside. I actually just did a podcast with somebody else where we talked about some really, really dark stuff, very openly and very authentically. It's going to be coming out soon. And I'm sure that for a lot of people, they're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe they're actually talking about this on a podcast. But there are going to be other people that are like, that's how I feel right now. I'm not alone, right? So somebody's got to do it, right?
Somebody's gotta do it. This
Somebody's got to
actually
do it.
this actually leads me to my next question, and I had not intended to ask this, but I really want to know. Do you believe that everyone is ready for reality transurfing?
No, everyone is not ready for reality transurfing. I actually just got a message from someone. I'll read it here. It's funny that you
Mhm.
asked me this question. It's so amazing. She says, "Hi, I just read the reality transurfing books." No, she said, "I'm sorry. Hi, the reality transurfing books are not available here, but I have the PDFs and I listen to the audio versions, or at least try to listen to them. My problem is a bit weird. I want to read or listen to the book and I understand the concepts entirely, but when I try, I can't seem to focus. I try watching your videos, but I can't seem to focus either. What should I do?" I said, "Come back at another time. You are not ready right now." She said, "What should I do all this time while I wait?" I said, "Try to connect with yourself, love yourself, and care for yourself, and listen to your inner voice." And she said, all right, thank you so much. And I said, my pleasure. There is no race. Be gentle with yourself. She says, I'm finding that hard. I don't think I even like myself. I said, you are clearly a beautiful young lady, but I totally understand. I was there once. So here's the thing. Like if somebody would have, when I found reality transurfing, I was ready. I was ready. I had already left my life, that rooster cage, right? I'd already broken free from the rooster cage, or sorry, the rat race. And I went to the country. I unplugged from it everything. I had no social media, and except for one very small Instagram account where I learned of reality transurfing. And when I found it and I started listening, I was like, immediately it spoke directly to my soul. I mean, I couldn't even, I was so confused. I was like, what is this? And where did it come from? And who has done this? And then when I realized that it had been translated to English and somebody for free had made, you know, an 8-hour audiobook or whatever of the first book, it was confusing to me, like, who would do this and why? Why is this audiobook here? Who's behind this? And but I continued to listen, and it just spoke directly to me. I have memories of 6 years ago walking and listening and just being absolutely mesmerized. That being said, I get lots and lots and lots of messages from people that are like, I don't get it. I don't understand. It's too complex. Whereas my experience was, it was not complex because I had gotten myself to a place where I had a question, and then I listened to transurfing and got the answer. And then that answer would lead me to another question that the next chapter would provide me with that answer. And it just went like this through the entire book, where it was like, I got a new program written for my mind, right? A lot of people, if they're not in the presence of those questions that I was asking of myself and my world and my reality and my mindset, my worldview, all that stuff. If you're not in that place and you're not wondering those same things, this knowledge might just go right over your head, right? So I always recommend people that are interested in this, that are not resonating with it, just like I recommended to this girl just now, come back to it later. Don't remember, try to remember it. Don't pressure yourself, because I've also heard lots and lots and lots of people, probably hundreds of people, say to me that they found the book, they didn't get it, they came back to it at a later time, and it transformed their life later. So it's just about being ready, but it's a big move. I mean, you're essentially developing a new worldview of how you look at reality. It's huge. It's not a small undertaking.
No, it's not.
No.
I had all sorts of goosebumps as I was hearing you say, like, talk about your experience and when you like unplugged and like heard it for the first time. Like I felt it like I was there.
Yeah, it was a very intense time for me. And what was even more intense was I listened to the audiobook, and then I bought the books, which I don't know if you know this. I'll show you both, and just for everybody at home. Now, 1 second here. So when I got into transurfing 6 years ago, it wasn't this book that is now like the Bible, right? This is all 5 books put together, Reality Transurfing Steps 1 through 5.
I call it my Bible.
Yes, it's the Bible. But when I got into transurfing, it was 5 different books. and they're only first edition and they're extremely rare. These 5 books cost me almost, I think, $1,200, and they're just paperback books. This
Huh.
one was like, look at this. It's a paperback book. It cost me like $700. Crazy, huh?
Uh-huh.
Because there's only a few floating around. This one you can just find on Amazon for what, 30 or 40 bucks. It's nothing compared to what I paid. But what happened was I listened to the audiobook. It was so compelling and it resonated so much that I spent the $1,200 and I bought these 5 books, and I read these books, and I went online and I'm like scouring the internet for anyone that knows what this is, and I couldn't find anything or anyone. I mean, there were a couple people in Europe, but it was just so obscure. And then I had this idea that, oh my God, this is my job. This is my, this is, I'm the one that's supposed to bring this. And at first I tried to like, no, how would you even do that? Like, what would you do? How would you even do that? What would your first steps be? No, that's crazy. You can't do that. And I had all these things, just like what we were talking about earlier, with my mind trying to tell me that it was far-fetched and it was unrealistic and it was stupid, but it wouldn't go away. It wouldn't go away. And then finally, I just thought, this is it. I've got to do this, and this is my purpose, and I know this is my purpose. And 5 years later, I'm leading a movement of people.
I remember the moment when I first got my hand on the book. I was first introduced to the concept of reality transurfing, and it's I'm starting to change. I'm starting to see changes within myself, my life, my relationship, my business, my career. And I'm like, I've got to get my hand on this book. I've got the PDF version, which is not, it's not the same thing. So I went, at the time I was in Dubai, of all places. I was like, we're in Dubai. There's no possible way I could find this. I went to the biggest commercial bookstore and I found the book, the Bible.
Oh,
I also
That's
found
awesome.
the first two.
Very popular in the Middle East. Very, very popular in the Middle East.
Yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. But I found a corner where that book was standing, and it just like it just shone right.
Yeah.
I saw it right past everything else, and I was like, "This is it. I'm gonna swear my life upon this book." And I remember taking it upon my hands. I was like, "I have to buy it right now. My life is going to change from this very moment onwards."
Totally. I've had many points in my life where, I love this book. This is a beautiful book, and this is the official book now. But these, to me, I think to myself, if something were to happen in my life and all my wealth was taken from me and everything was taken from me, my house was burned down, whatever, as long as I had a relatively comfortable bed, clean water, and these books, I could survive. Like this is all that I need to survive in life. This is it. And I don't even really like look at them that often. Like, I haven't read one of these in years, right? I mean, I reference them sometimes when I want to give a lesson or I'm looking for something, but it's not like I'm reading these or anything like that. But just having this, to me, is like, and this is this feeling of feeling so unbelievably fond of these books compared to what I valued before I found reality transurfing. You know what I'm saying? Like I was super materialistic. if I bought something and then the better one came out, like I wanted that. I was constantly, spending money on things that I didn't need, and, placing value on fancy vacations and just junk. I mean, even though it was expensive and it was luxury stuff and nice stuff, I lived a nice life. I had so much importance on material gains. And now, 6 years later, for me to say that my absolute most cherished possession in this world is 5 paperback books. It's like it's amazing. It's amazing.
I can feel you as you're saying this. It's like a representation of, they're not just books. They're like, when you look back at them, it's like, this is how far I've come.
Yes.
This is a representation of like what is possible in life. Even when I was like down below, when I couldn't imagine a world beyond this made it all possible.
Totally. You summed it up perfectly. These books were my life raft. These books were my my lifesaver. I'm out at sea and I'm drowning, or I'm what do you call it, a castaway. And these books were what brought me back to life. Like I was dying spiritually. I was dead, and like my soul was so I was so shut off from my soul. I was so shut off from individuality and so many things. And this is what brought me back from it really.
Well, so for people who have not experienced the depth or the magnitude or transformation that you have experienced, because this is quite, it's heavy and it's like mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
And for people who have not experienced it yet, to quite that magnitude, who have not hit rock bottom yet, but they're at a place where they're not happy. They cannot see their uniqueness. They cannot see what they can give to the world. They cannot see how they can ever shine. And life is just kind of feeling like really mediocre. What would you say to someone like that in response to their state?
Well, what I would say is that there are an infinite number of versions of reality and yourself. And whatever state you're in right now is just one materialization of one of those infinite versions. And the problem is with people, and this was very much me in my previous life, is I thought that this was static. I thought that this was something that couldn't be changed. My mind couldn't be changed. My circumstances couldn't be changed. I suffered from horrible, horrible, horrible poverty mentality. Really, really bad. Like, if for any of you listening, if you're having poverty mentality, like there is a way out. There's a way out of anxiety. There's a way out of depression. There's a way out of feeling meaningless, feeling like you have no purpose, feeling like life just isn't delivering. It's just not delivering in that version of reality that you're experiencing. And a lot of this comes down to what we choose to believe is truth. So as reality transurfing shows us, we materialize our choice that we make, how we choose to view reality. And however you choose to view reality is exactly what you get. That's why you have exactly what you have now. Either knowingly or unknowingly, you have chosen this version of reality. Therefore, your world is giving you exactly your choice. So if you're not happy with whatever it is that you have, you can connect with a different variation of reality, one better, just like I have, by making some different choices. And reality transurfing is super, super cool because essentially, if you're not happy now, you can start creating a new reality for yourself that is you can do it this very, very practically. It's not hard at all, but the cool thing is just getting your foot in that direction is going to make you happier today. Like, a lot of people aren't feeling happy because they don't have direction. As soon as you point yourself in that direction, everything changes. As soon as you realize that you have a choice of how you experience reality, everything changes. As soon as you understand that shifting your reality is done by a very, very simple formula. This is like, this is beyond liberating. So you can free yourself from any circumstances that you don't like in your life right now by taking these steps, right? By taking these steps. And you can do little things, just improving your reality, the way that you experience it. Maybe you want to have everything still the same. Maybe you like your job, maybe you like your family, maybe you like your house, maybe you like whatever the circumstances are of your life. You can keep all that stuff and just start seeing reality through a new filter and feel happier with what you have. Or you can go hardcore like I did and take this knowledge and actually redesign an entirely new life for yourself. You can do anything between the simple version to the expanded version and anything in between that. So whatever you're challenged by, reality transurfing will help you resolve that for sure.
I love that. There is a piece for everyone. Like, there's a different piece for everyone at a different stage of life. For as long as they're willing to listen, and for as long as they're willing to open up and explore, like, what else is there for me than the life that I'm living right now?
Yes. Yes,
That
totally.
is so cool. That is so
really
cool.
is. It really is. It's a miracle. I'm very, very blessed that I found reality transurfing when I did. And I'm equally as blessed to be this far down the road with such success in my endeavor. It's been pretty amazing.
So, what would you say to someone who is experiencing resistance and challenges? Maybe like the same way you did when you found your purpose, when you heard your calling, you wanted to answer. What would you say to someone like that who is experiencing resistance from everywhere in their environment? They're fighting and kicking to stay the same when they want to change.
So I have this little analogy that I use, like a formula, and I'm sure you've probably heard me talk about it on my channel. I call this forward and up thinking versus backward and down thinking. So forward and up means just that. You're thinking about what you want. You're thinking about what you strive to achieve. You're thinking about the future. You're thinking about connecting with that higher version of yourself. You're thinking about being productive. You're creating from your ideas. You're thinking about evolution of yourself and your reality. This is forward and up thinking.
Okay.
Backward and down thinking is thinking about what you don't like, thinking about what you don't want, thinking about what's standing in your way, thinking about focusing on parts of yourself that you feel aren't capable or worthy of having what you want. Thinking about your parents, thinking about things that make you sad, thinking about things that give you anxiety. So this has been probably the most profound shift in my perspective, is the backward and down thinking, changing it to the forward and up thinking. And at first, the ego and your patterns, we all sort of carve these neural pathways that become very familiar to us, right? And we want to stay comfortable. So even if we're having anxiety and depression and doubting ourselves and thinking about the past and being angry about the past, or feeling like you got cheated in life or any of that kind of stuff, that becomes comfortable for a lot of people. And I know that sounds weird, but it's true. It becomes comfortable and it becomes your perspective.
Mhm.
Now, the cool thing about using reality transurfing is it's not asking you to change anything. It's not saying stop thinking about those things. What it's saying is start thinking about these other things instead. So when you start thinking about these other things instead, your focus comes away from the stuff that was causing you pain or overthinking or stress or anxiety or depression or whatever. So it's not about not doing the downward and back thinking. It's about doing more of the forward and up thinking and getting into that pattern, having your brain carve those neural pathways, having your thought process geared towards what can I create? What can I do? How can I be productive? And the cool thing is that it doesn't matter what you want. You can start taking those steps today in that direction. And like I said earlier, that you can decide you want something new for yourself and put your feet in that direction and already feel relief just from your feet being in that direction. This is what forward and up thinking is about, right? It's about choosing to take choosing to change the focal point of your perspective. And shift of in this shift of perspective is where you start to cultivate exactly what you need to get more of what you want. That's the easiest way of putting it.
That is it's such an empowering piece of wisdom.
Huge.
Like the fact that anyone can begin at anywhere with anything that they have, that blows my mind. And even though I already like consciously know it, just hearing you say that, like it gives all of us freedom, because we don't have to be anybody. We don't have to have any particular tools and things. We just need to apply. We just need to apply.
Totally.
I love it.
Just like my motto, knowledge without application is merely entertainment, right? And it is. And I know a lot of people are entertained by me on YouTube. I know a lot of people are entertained by me and all my quirky talks about reality transurfing. Those that are actually applying it are seeing changes in their reality, and those that aren't are merely being entertained, right? And that's okay too. But if you want something new for yourself, you're going to have to apply this knowledge and actually work with it. And it's not hard, but it just takes setting the intention and then taking consistent action.
I love that. So the last piece I want to ask you is, how did it, well, the last piece of question regarding you that I want to ask is, how did it all snowball for you? Like, how did you start seeing things accelerate? Like, that's really exciting for me, because when we know that when we step into the wave of fortune, things just like
Yeah.
fly into our window like hyperspeed. So how did this happen for you?
Well, I did this thing about 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago now. So I've been doing this uh, intensely for about 5 years. And at first, are you talking about the transurfing success, or are you saying just in general with myself? Well, the answer is going to be the same. The answer is really going to be the same.
I think it all applies.
Yeah, it's really the same answer. Um, it's an intense exercise. I'll send you the link to the video where I talk about it, and you can put it below so people, if they want to check out this exercise. It didn't get a lot of traction on YouTube, and I don't think a lot of people did it because it's very, 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 it's very intense. It takes about 3 days, 2 to 3 days to do, and it changed so much in my mind. It removed a bunch of blockages. So I read Reality Transurfing and experienced profound change in my mind, and a lot of happiness and a lot of balance and all that kind of stuff. But I still didn't see a lot of like progress with what I was doing. I was still holding myself back.
Uh-huh.
And I came up with this. It was actually recommended by a friend, and I kind of altered it to suit my own needs. But I came up with this exercise, and what I did was I wrote down on a piece of paper. This is 3 pieces of paper. I wrote down on a piece of paper what I wanted, and in detail, right? What I wanted, what my visions were, what, all what sort of reality that I wanted to experience.
Mhm.
And then on one piece of paper, I wrote every single attribute and quality and characteristic and skill that I felt that I had that would help me in achieving this. And then on the second paper, and this is where it gets interesting, I wrote every characteristic, attribute, quality, shortcoming, idiosyncrasy that I felt was hindering me from having this version of reality. And it was like 100 different items. And I sat down for about 2 days and I went through each item and I meditated on each item that was holding me back. I traced it to where I had that thought originally in my
Mhm.
life, in my mind, and I pulled it out by its root. I like got rid of, it was like going to a garden bed and pulling out all the weeds. And as soon as I did that, I don't know how, I don't know what exactly happened, but my life just took off. I fell in love and moved in with someone that is like the man of my absolute dreams. I started seeing immense success with reality transurfing. I got a real estate license and became top realtor in my first year of doing business in the real estate business. I mean, it was like my life just exploded. It was weird. And it's really a trip. And I know that a lot of things were happening around that time with my self-development and like Transurfing TV. This all came after that. Everything
Mm.
everything that you're seeing, the Facebook group, all my social media, Transurfing TV, all that stuff came after that. So I was doing a lot of self-development work at that time, but I really do attribute that practice to a huge portion of what I'm currently successful with right now. It was big. It was really what it was about, was getting rid of those limiting beliefs.
Yeah. It's like going back to those files and looking at every one of those files, opening them up, dusting them off, and chucking it out.
Yes, exactly. That was exactly it. And in the video that I gave, I tell the specific formula and I say take 2 or 3 days. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. I mean, are you willing to sit down for 3 days and think about all the stuff that you don't like about yourself? You know?
If you put it that way, I can see how the resistance is going to come up for a lot of people.
A lot of resistance, but you know what? I was ready. Somebody recommended me to do it. And I was experiencing some imbalances in my life still at that point. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I turned my phone off. I turned all my social media off. I didn't go to my computer. I went grocery shopping. I stocked my fridge up with food and got my place nice and comfortable and clean. And for 3 days, I did this exercise and it was an absolute game changer. So I definitely think that there was something to this for sure.
Send me the link and I will put it in the description below. And I strongly suggest anyone to follow her recommendation to do this. I am going to take time to myself in my life. I'm going to make time in my life to make sure I go through this exercise. I use strong.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what your thoughts are on it. It's really, I mean, it's like you're going into battle, right? You're going into battle to really like destroy those limiting beliefs. And it's amazing. If you do it, I'm so happy for you. And I'm so curious to hear about what your thoughts are on it, because it's a big one. It's a doozy.
I will come back to you on that.
Okay.
So the last question that I have for you is, what is the one thing that you want people to remember and take away to help them recognize their value and really ground their value and uniqueness in the world, so that they can actually apply the things that they can learn and have a container to fill their cup?
So I never had this perspective before reality transurfing, and this is definitely one of the things that I want to extend to everyone that comes across this knowledge. And that is that you have a sector of reality in the universe, in the alternative space, we call it. You have a sector of reality that is specifically intended for you, that you are your most optimal, highest version of yourself. You're successful. You wake up every morning and you bound out of bed with excitement for what it is that you do with your life. And this is available for absolutely everyone, every single human being on this planet. This version of reality is available for everybody on this planet, but yours is specific for you. It's not somebody else's. It's not something that you maybe even could think of right now with your own mind. In fact, you probably won't. So what I tell people is, if before I found reality transurfing, if let's say I went to a fortune teller, right, and I sat down and said, tell my fortune, and she said to me, you're going to leave Los Angeles, you're going to leave your profession, you're going to not care about money so much anymore, you're not going to care about all the material things that you highly value, you're going to move to a small rural farming town, you're going to help other people by spreading knowledge that was given to the world in form of a book written by, a Russian guy that you've never met. I mean, I've met him now, but at the time, when I started, I clearly didn't. And you're going to do this and be amazingly happy. And everything that you think that makes you happy now is going to fall away, and you are going to experience happiness by helping other people, resonating with love, being creative, all that stuff. I would have laughed at this fortune teller and said, you probably got it wrong, right? Like when you embark on the journey that Reality Transurfing is offering, there is a very, very good possibility that you could be led in a direction that you did not even know existed for you. So it's about surrendering and letting the process happen, and trying to the best of your ability to trust and understand that if you can go with the alternatives flow, as we say in Reality Transurfing, your world, your universe will take you to that sector of reality that's specifically intended for you if you let it. But you have to trust your world. You have to trust it.
That is so beautiful.
I like it.
Incredible. I hope you guys are taking notes. I really hope you guys are taking notes. Everything that she said is gold right here. And make sure that you love yourself enough to make sure that you can take in this information. You find yourself worthy enough to allow yourself to just absorb and apply all of it. Because we've got to do this for ourselves. We got to do this for ourselves to experience what this lifetime, what this life in our lifetime has for us, in order for us to be able to live in the full expansion and learn the things that we're here to learn.
Totally.
So I am sure people, after having heard everything that you have just said, I know that people are dying to know how they can find you and connect with you. For the people who have not been in your world, how can they get more of this juiciness?
Well, we've got lots and lots and lots of resources. We've got Transurfing TV on YouTube, which has almost 600 videos now, which is kind of mind-blowing even to me. We have Instagram, reality_transurfing, for lots of little transurfing bits and paragraphs and 78 days of practical transurfing lessons, lots of cool stuff there. And then we have a very, very active Facebook group, the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. I think we have something like 6,700 members right now, and it's growing. Like just the other day, we let in 300 people in one day. Can you imagine that? I mean, it was like people were pouring in. www.transurfing.us. That's the official website. And we actually have a course now. We developed a course at the middle of last year. It's on Teachable. It's called Reality 2.0. It's extremely comprehensive. Not only would you learn the 11 core concepts of reality transurfing, but there's a course specific for money, how to make more money, how to connect with higher paths of wealth. And we also have a course called Becoming Magnetic, which is really, it's self-explanatory. It's you getting yourself to a state of being where you actually magnetize what it is that you want. And this is what I'm doing right now. I know that it works because I'm feeling the success that magnetizing yourself brings. And there's lots and lots of other cool, interesting things on that course. It's probably about 15 hours of material, so it is quite extensive. And again, that's on Teachable. But yeah, I hope to see you if you're listening in the community. It's a really amazing one, very inspiring. Lots of people doing amazing, beautiful things with this knowledge in their lives. And we are a warm bunch, and we welcome you greatly.
Amazing. So guys, I am going to put all of the links and the resources and the community link and the link to the International Transurfing Institute website so that you can easily have access to everything and just grab anything that you need. and get inside the community to just be in the vibe of fellow like-minded people, so you could like really start your journey in experiencing what reality transurfing can bring you, which is so phenomenal. Like I have gotten so much out of it. I swore to myself I would never live in Mexico, and here I am.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yes, it will bring you some incredible things that you never thought you'd be doing. That's for sure.
Right? So that pretty much sums up our interview. Thank you, Renee, for being so generous with everything that you have shared and being so open. Um, there's so many concepts that I know there is still to learn. We are going to have access to it in all the links and resources that I will be sharing in this description down below. Thank you for your time. I appreciate spending this time with you so much.
Well, thank you.
And
Thank you for having me, Eunice.
yes. And if you enjoyed this interview, if you enjoyed this video, please give us a massive thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to this Facebook channel, this YouTube channel, and make sure you hit the bell button as well. And with that said, take care. Until next time, have a beautiful time. Enjoy transurfing. Enjoy exploring different sectors of reality. And I will see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.